Terizla and Uranus form a perfect combo in Mobile Legends due to their unique synergy of durability, crowd control, and disruption. Together, they can dominate team fights, control objectives, and keep the enemy team on their heels. Let's dive deeper into why this pairing works so well, how to make the most of their abilities, and the strategies you can use to climb the ranks with this unstoppable duo. Uranus is one of the tankiest heroes in the game, known for his ability to regenerate health over time with his passive, Radiance, making him extremely difficult to take down. Every time Uranus takes damage, he gains stacks of regeneration, which allows him to stay in fights much longer than most other tanks. Terizla, though not as tanky as Uranus, has excellent survivability thanks to his passive ability, which reduces the damage he takes when his health drops below 30%. This, combined with his high burst damage, makes him a fighter that can withstand enemy attacks while dealing significant damage in return. Together, Terizla and Uranus are a nightmare for enemies to deal with in prolonged fights. Uranus soaks up damage and constantly heals, while Terizla shrugs off damage and retaliates with powerful area of effect attacks. Both Uranus and Terizla have strong crowd control abilities, but they serve different purposes, making them a deadly combination when used together. Uranus can slow down enemies and zone them out of important areas with his first skill, while his ultimate allows him to absorb even more damage, disrupting the enemy team's positioning. Terizla deals heavy AoE damage and slows down enemies with each strike, while his ultimate, which pulls enemies toward the center of its area and deals significant damage. This works perfectly with Uranus, who can keep enemies in place while Terizla lands his abilities. Once Terizla lands Penalty Zone, Uranus can use Ionic Edge to ensure no one escapes, allowing both to deal massive damage. Terizla's ability to engage and start fights is crucial to this combo. His Penalty Zone ultimate can initiate team fights by gathering multiple enemies in one area, setting them up for massive damage from both Terizla and Uranus. Uranus can then follow up with his crowd control and regeneration, holding the front lines while Terizla finishes off enemies. This combo is particularly effective in late-game team fights where positioning is key. If the enemy team is caught out of position or clumped together, Terizla can easily punish them with his ultimate, and Uranus's durability and control can prevent the enemy from counter-engaging. Uranus's sustainability allows him to stand at the front line, soaking up damage from both the enemy team and the objectives themselves. Terizla can use his AoE abilities to clear minions quickly, allowing your team to apply pressure to multiple lanes. Terizla can drop his ultimate to pull enemies into the fight, allowing Uranus to keep them engaged and give your team a chance to secure the objective. In the early game, Uranus should take on the role of zoning and protecting his team's carries in the lane, using his durability to create space and prevent enemy aggression. Meanwhile, Terizla should focus on farming to reach his power spikes and building his core items as quickly as possible. Uranus can poke enemies with Ionic Edge and clear minion waves with ease. His presence alone will force the enemy team to play defensively, giving Terizla time to build up gold. By mid-game, both Uranus and Terizla will hit their stride. Terizla should look for opportunities to initiate fights with his ultimate, while Uranus follows up by slowing and disrupting the enemy team. In team fights, Uranus can act as the front line, absorbing damage, while Terizla deals the burst damage needed to take down enemy squishies. If the enemy focuses Terizla, Uranus can peel for him, while continuing to disrupt the enemy team. The synergy between Uranus's durability and Terizla's ability to punish clumped enemies will give your team a significant advantage in team fights. Split pushing can also be a strong tactic with this duo. Uranus can easily push one lane while Terizla joins the rest of the team for fights, giving your team a multi-lane pressure strategy. Uranus's ability to stay alive while split pushing is unmatched, and he can quickly join the team with his ultimate if needed. In the late game, Terizla and Uranus become nearly unstoppable in team fights. By this point, Uranus will be incredibly difficult to kill, regenerating health rapidly, while Terizla's AoE damage will be massive with the right items. Engage in team fights strategically, looking for opportunities where Terizla can land his ultimate on multiple enemies. If your team is ahead, Use Uranus to aggressively push into enemy territory, forcing them to either engage or give up objectives like towers and the Lord. With Uranus tanking the damage and Terizla waiting to punish any overextensions, your team will be able to control the flow of the game. For sieging enemy bases, Uranus can act as a shield for your damage dealers while Terizla zones out the enemy team with his skill shots. Their combination of crowd control and damage ensures that the enemy won't be able to mount a successful defense. Terizla and Uranus make an incredible duo thanks to their shared strengths in durability, crowd control, and team fight impact. Uranus provides a solid frontline that can absorb damage and disrupt enemies, while Terizla follows up with devastating burst damage and crowd control. Their synergy makes them a force to be reckoned with, especially in team fights and objective control situations. Terizla's item build focuses on amplifying his already strong burst damage while providing him with the sustainability to survive in team fights. Here's a breakdown of a standard item build that will maximize Terizla's impact in the game. Number 1. War Axe. This is a core item for Terizla because of its lifesteal through skills. With War Axe, Terizla heals every time he lands his abilities, allowing him to stay longer in fights and deal more damage. It also provides cooldown reduction, which is essential for casting his skills more frequently. Number 2. Tough Boots. This boots will increase Terizla's survivability. Tough Boots if good when facing a lot of crowd control and magic damage. Number 3. Queen's Wings. This item enhances Terizla's survivability by providing damage reduction when his health falls below a certain threshold, perfectly complementing his passive. The additional lifesteal will help keep him alive during team fights. Number 4. Blade of Despair. This item greatly boosts Terizla's burst potential by adding a massive amount of physical attack, making his combos even deadlier, especially against low-health targets. Number 5. Immortality. For extra survivability, Immortality grants Terizla a second chance in team fights with its resurrection ability. The extra physical defense helps him endure longer as well. Number 6. Brute Force Breastplate. This is a great late-game item that adds both physical and magic defense, along with a movement speed boost, which is helpful for chasing or escaping enemies. This build balances damage and durability, allowing Terizla to thrive in fights. Don't forget to subscribe for more epic Mobile Legends tips, hero guides, and strategies to help you win every match. Stay tuned for more breakdowns and gameplay insights.